So for this video and interview, I chose to pick people to emphasize diversity. There's Dara, who's Irish, Ricky, who's American, and Colin, who's a native Taiwanese. Each of them teaches ESL to both junior and senior high school students. In Taiwan, this is about 13 to 18-year-olds. So Dara is pretty happy, and he is known in the office for being the computer whiz. He does a lot of creative things with PowerPoints, and he really likes it here because this school is much better than previous jobs he's had. However, Colin doesn't say this because this is her first teaching job. And in Ricky's case, his last job also had a similar amount of technology. Neither Dara nor Ricky have taught in their home countries. While Dara hasn't taught in Ireland, he does think this is a good school by Taiwanese standards. On top of that, he would like to see more technology implemented, but he's not sure what that would look like. On the other hand, Ricky isn't even sure what the exact policy is and wouldn't care either way. In fact, he'd prefer to keep things simple and with less technology. For Colin, the Taiwanese teacher, she thinks that while there is a benefit using technology, it does need to be used properly to make sure the students are focused and don't get distracted. Taiwanese law states that a foreigner working as a teacher does not require a teaching license. So while neither Dara nor Ricky have a teaching license, they still have things to say. Ricky would prefer to keep things face-to-face because of his background in counseling, whereas Dara has increasingly enjoyed using technology in the classroom. On the other hand, Colin, who got her master's, says she learned quite a lot about using technology in the classroom, but doesn't really have the opportunity to implement the knowledge she has. Dara thinks giving each student a tablet would have a lot of benefits. For one, it would help visually impaired students, and also it could make test and quiz taking be environmentally friendlier. His only concern is that students would use it to view inappropriate material, but that's also easily addressed. On the contrary, Ricky would rather address the immediate needs of students before trying to decorate the room with aesthetic technological use. I can certainly understand that, and I think that's a noble idea. Finally, Colin thinks that because students already have cell phones, they can just use those. There's no need to buy fancy equipment. All three of the teachers I interviewed expressed some concerns regarding using technology in the classroom. Dara thought that some teachers might get carried away in getting the boxes ticked and using technology in a more bureaucratic way, just using it for its own sake, and not thinking about if it's actually a good idea or not. Ricky views technology as a tool first and foremost. He doesn't think it should be the primary means of learning. So he is worried that students using too much technology will become over-reliant on it and not be able to learn without it. Also, Colin expresses a similar concern. She is worried that students might be too fixated on the recreational and playful use of tech and not use it appropriately in the classroom. The three of them agreed that students don't necessarily need technology to learn better. Now, it must be said that they come from a setting in which there are no immediate cases of special needs students, so keep that in mind. While they think technology can be used in a good way in the classroom, they also think that it's more of a tool than anything else. Having used some of Dara's PowerPoint creations, I have to admit he is very talented at making the most out of the program. He's made some very interesting and engaging games for some younger students. Still, Ricky doesn't always use technology. He prefers to do things in the analog way. And, in Colin's case, she doesn't really have the opportunity to do so. It needs to be said that only the foreign teachers have the opportunity to make the most out of using technology in the classroom. Given their previous responses, the answers to the question "Are you satisfied with how you use tech in the classroom?" are pretty predictable. Our school places a big emphasis on teaching vocabulary in ESL classes. So in this lesson plan that Ricky gave me, the topic of that day was teaching new vocabulary. It started off pretty well. He asked about the long 4-day weekend we just recently had. This is good for building rapport and getting to know the students better. After this, he does a review activity to remind students of the words they learned in the last class. Now, he wrote all these words on the board, and in this instance, I think he could have benefited from using technology instead. For one, the students haven't seen these words in a while, so a visual reminder of what they mean would have been nice. He could have included a picture along with the word, instead of just the written word on the board. Now, most of us can't expertly draw pictures in a matter of seconds, so using technology in this case would be very convenient. Later on, Ricky teaches some new words, and he uses a projector screen to show pictures of the words to students. He then draws a simple picture of the word and asks the students to do the same. I think this is a great way to appeal to different learning strategies. For the visually minded students, they get an instant reminder of what the word means. He also complies with the designer standard from the ISTE standards for educators. After going over the newly taught words, Ricky does a simple review game that once again relies on technology. In this case, it is very useful because by showing a picture on the projector screen, students are given a visual reminder of what a word means. Finally, he gives students a worksheet. Now, this worksheet could be done on a tablet in an ideal situation, but he's doing the best he can with what he has.